In this video, you'll get a quick overview of Vibrant's oxidative stress profile. I'll explain the Vibrant advantage and the technology used. Then we'll walk through each section of the test, highlighting key features. I'll also suggest complementary tests and end by summarizing the key takeaways and where to go for additional information. Oxidative stress refers to an imbalance between the production of reactive oxygen species, or ROS, and the body's ability to eliminate them through antioxidant defenses. Said another way, oxidative stress occurs when the body is unable to keep up with the accumulation of ROS due to inadequate intake of antioxidants, poorly functioning endogenous antioxidants, and/or a diet and lifestyle that generates excess reactive oxygen species. As illustrated on the left, it's possible to be genetically predisposed to oxidative stress due to unfortunate genetics, but protected by a nutrient-dense diet and healthy lifestyle, such as getting ample sleep, managing stress, eating a nutrient-dense diet, and getting regular, moderate exercise. As illustrated on the right, it's also possible to have a fully functional endogenous antioxidant fleet, but so many pro-oxidants in your diet and lifestyle that your body can't keep up. These are things like smoking, drinking alcohol, lack of exercise, or excessive exercise. In other words, your genes aren't the only factor impacting oxidative stress. Like with so many chronic diseases, your diet and lifestyle choices can push you in the direction of health or the direction of dysfunction and disease. Good news, there's now a test to measure this balancing act between diet and lifestyle versus genetic predisposition. Vibrant Wellness's oxidative stress profile evaluates markers of oxidative damage, antioxidant capacity, and cellular resilience, providing insights into free radical activity, inflammation, and mitochondrial function. All of this to support targeted strategies for reducing oxidative stress and promoting long-term cellular health. The oxidative stress profile includes two panels: antioxidant genetics and oxidative damage markers. Before we dive into the actual report, I want to remind you that you get to choose how much information to include in the report that you download for yourself or the report you share with your patients. You have three options: summary, interpretation, and all markers. I'll be going over the report that includes all three options combined, as it is the most comprehensive. Let's start with a quick overview. The full oxidative stress profile report includes a cover page, introduction, a summary with marker interpretation, free radical flowchart, oxidative damage infographic, oxidative damage score, and science-backed personalized recommendations for optimizing antioxidant status. And then it ends with a list of all the markers. The cover page identifies a sample type and includes the results interpretation key. The introduction page is where you can find the methodology and interpretation of report, and I highly recommend reading this page, especially if you want to learn about the methodologies used or how reference ranges were established. The rest of the report is split into two panels: antioxidant genetics results and oxidative damage markers. Let's walk through each section now, starting with antioxidant genetics. Antioxidant genetics provides insight on predisposition to oxidative stress due to suboptimal enzyme function. The antioxidant genetics panel looks at 32 single nucleotide polymorphisms, or SNPs, impacting endogenous antioxidant enzymes. Enzymes like superoxide dismutase, catalase, and glutathione peroxidase protect DNA, RNA, lipids, and proteins from damage by neutralizing free radicals. When these enzymes aren't functioning optimally, it can result in increased oxidative stress load on the body. What does this look like exactly? Well, according to the flowchart included in the oxidative stress profile summary, the enzyme glutathione S-transferase plays an important regulatory role in detoxification by converting free radicals into soluble extracellular toxins so they can be eliminated from the body. However, an elevated risk glutathione S-transferase variant, as indicated by the red rectangle, can slow glutathione conjugation, resulting in a buildup of free radicals. Instead, the free radicals go down the alternate pathway. In the alternate pathway, free radicals can form superoxide, which is highly reactive. which is why our mitochondria have superoxide dismutase enzymes to convert superoxide into hydrogen peroxide. However, an elevated risk SOD variant can slow conversion, resulting in high levels of superoxide and increased oxidative damage. Meanwhile, excess hydrogen peroxide is bad, which is why we have two enzymes, catalase and glutathione peroxidase, capable of converting hydrogen peroxide into water. Unfortunately, elevated risk variants for catalase and glutathione peroxidase can slow conversion, resulting in high levels of hydrogen peroxide and increased oxidative damage. For the sake of time, I won't explain all 20 elevated risk enzymes, but I will remind you that interpretive comments populate for all elevated risk SNPs, explaining the risk associated with each. The next part of the oxidative stress profile is all about the oxidative damage products, providing insight on actual damage occurring in the body due to increased oxidative stress. The oxidative damage panel looks at 16 oxidative stress biomarkers, including markers of lipid peroxidation like F2 isoprostanes, markers of DNA damage like 8-OHDG, markers of RNA damage, and advanced glycation products. When these biomarkers are being eliminated in the urine, it indicates real-time oxidative damage. The oxidative damage markers are summarized in this helpful infographic showing the impact of oxidative stress on nuclear DNA, transcriptional RNA, translational cellular proteins, as well as lipids found in the phospholipid bilayer. Just like for the SNPs, interpretive comments populate for all elevated risk oxidative stress biomarkers. In addition to genetic risk and real-time damage markers, the oxidative stress profile also includes an oxidative damage score. The x-axis is your age, and the y-axis is your oxidative damage score. The score is calculated using the results from all urine damage markers tested, applied to a linear regression model, and displayed with respect to your age group. A score in green represents a normal score based on the 50th percentile of the population, indicating you're aging at or slower than your chronological age. A score in the yellow represents a moderate score falling between the 50th and 90th percentile, and a score in the red represents accelerated cellular aging compared to the relatively healthy reference population. In this example, the patient is currently 43 years old but has an oxidative damage score of someone who is nearly 55 years old. Ordering the tests more than once tracks patient progress. For example, after getting their initial results, this patient made significant changes to their diet and lifestyle to lower their oxidative damage score from 54.78 to 43.74 over the course of 1 year. This example illustrates how the oxidative stress profile can help guide providers and motivate patients to make diet and lifestyle changes to lower their oxidative stress and slow aging. Finally, the oxidative stress profile includes personalized supplement suggestions to help balance oxidative stress load per genetic predisposition and current damage markers. For example, vitamin C enhances glutathione peroxidase 1 activity by donating electrons to reduce glutathione, which is then used by GPX1 to neutralize harmful reactive oxygen species, thereby protecting cells from oxidative damage. Now, let's talk about methodology. Mass spectrometry is the gold standard for measuring small molecules. Therefore, Vibrant's Oxidative Damage Markers panel uses liquid chromatography tandem mass spectrometry methodology for quantitative detection of damage markers in urine samples. Additionally, urine creatinine is measured using a kinetic colorimetric assay based on the Jaffe method. And all damage markers are reported as the quantitative result normalized to urine creatinine to account for urine dilution variations. Vibrant's oxidative stress profile uses real-time PCR methodology for accurate identification of genetic variations. Briefly, genetic material is extracted and purified from saliva samples, and a single nucleotide polymorphism genotyping assay is performed to detect the specific allele targets of each assay. RT-PCR is a gold standard for identification of genetic material, so results are accurate and precise. Finally, let's review collection instructions and how to prepare for this test. The antioxidant genetics test is an easy at-home saliva collection. Simply allow saliva to naturally pool in the mouth and then spit into the tube provided. Note, patients should rinse their mouth with water to remove food residue and wait at least 10 minutes after rinsing to avoid sample dilution. Additionally, patients should avoid foods with high sugar or acidity or high caffeine content immediately before sample collection. For best test performance, avoid eating a major meal within 60 minutes of sample collection. The Oxidative Damage Markers test is a simple at-home urine collection. Ideally, patients should collect their first morning void, as this will have the most concentrated level of damaged products. And for the same reason, patients should not drink more than 8 ounces of water 1 hour prior to urine collection to prevent overly diluted samples, which may result in sample rejection. Fasting is not required, and there are no diet, medication, or supplement restrictions. However, patients are encouraged to consult with their healthcare provider if they have concerns about ongoing medication or supplements. As for exercise, patients should avoid intense physical activity 1 day prior to testing, as exercise can influence oxidative stress markers. Now let's talk about which patients benefit most from this test. In other words, when to order an oxidative stress profile for your patient. Patients may benefit from this test if they present with symptoms like fatigue or low energy, premature aging signs, joint pain or stiffness, poor sleep or insomnia, frequent headaches, anxiety or stress overload, hormonal imbalances, toxin sensitivity, memory issues, brain fog, or chronic inflammation. These symptoms may be the result of exposure to dietary and environmental oxidants. This includes a poor diet and/or too many calories, because when you overeat, you're essentially flooding the engine. Just think of a car that's getting way more fuel in the engine than oxygen. You get a big black cloud of smoke coming out the tailpipe. Also, hyperglycemia. A big spike in blood sugar is an inflammatory event. Also, cigarette smoke, which is full of mitochondrial poisons like carbon dioxide and cyanide. Alcohol is also a driver of oxidative stress as it impairs liver biotransformation, leading to more toxic intermediates. Also, UV radiation from the sun, and other toxins such as ionizing radiation from nuclear waste, environmental toxins, mycotoxins, and heavy metals. Before we talk about synergistic tests, I want you to think about Dr. Sidney Baker's TAC rules. Rule number 1. If you're sitting on a TAC, it takes a lot of aspirin to make the pain go away. In other words, it's difficult to heal if you don't identify the root cause of your symptoms. Rule number 2. If you're sitting on 2 TACs, removing one does not necessarily result in a 50% improvement in symptoms. In other words, sometimes there's more than one root cause contributing to your symptoms. So in addition to the oxidative stress profile, consider the total tox burden test, which includes environmental toxins, mycotoxins, and heavy metals tests to assess an individual's specific level of toxins in the body. Also, the PFAS chemicals test to assess an individual's specific levels of per- and polyfluoroalkyl substances in the body. Additionally, micronutrients, which provides insights into intra- and extracellular micronutrient levels, or the NutriPro, which provides the former and also insights on nutrition-related genetic SNPs impacting micronutrient levels, as many nutrients are cofactors in endogenous antioxidants. The Cardiac Health Panel, as impaired oxidative stress antioxidants can cause increased inflammation, a known driver of cardiovascular disease, and the Diabetes Panel, since oxidative stress can increase inflammation, which drives the development of diabetes. In summary, Vibrant's oxidative stress profile uses gold standard RT-PCR and LC-MS methodology to measure 32 genetic SNPs and 16 oxidative damage markers, respectively. This provides insights into genetic predisposition to oxidative stress, alongside real-time damage to DNA, RNA, proteins, and lipids, allowing for a comprehensive assessment of oxidative damage, antioxidant capacity, and overall cellular resilience. These are critical factors in evaluating the biological rate of aging and building a foundation for personalized longevity strategies. The report also features an easy-to-follow antioxidant flowchart and a damage marker infographic, along with an oxidative damage score, making it simple for patients to understand the results and empowering them to take action towards better health. To learn more, visit the link in the video description. If you have any questions, please ask them in the comments below this video. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a vibrant day.